Good evening, folks. I'm smoking my Nording freehand, and I have a long stem on it, turning it into a church warden. In it, I've got some Lane BCA, and this is a VR to Padre Piper's 100k subscriber Ain't Dare No More giveaway. Ain't Dare No More. And in it he asks us to write or deliver our own obituary. Something I've tried 10 times already to do. Stephen was born in Norfolk to Jean Hurst, who then married William Thomas Waters, who adopted Stephen as his own. He had a very difficult childhood, and when he left school, his father apprenticed him as a motor mechanic. But after that, he left and worked in retail trade as a tailor and eventually went to work in a paper mill on stack, pushing 2-ton rolls of paper around, which he left when one of his assistants was seriously injured, and went to work at a garden centre until he was ordained in the 1980s. Stephen was considered a high churchman. He also worked as a diocesan exorcist for a time. He led several renewal groups and several spirituality groups. Eventually, he suffered a massive breakdown and was forced to retire on the grounds of ill health. The retirement was the best thing he ever did, for when he retired, he felt free to be himself. And because of his experience in the church, because of his experience amongst Christians, he gave up faith in any organised religion and did not believe in God. He joined the Pipe community a year ago and threw himself wholeheartedly into it. He tried, as far as he could, to be a loving friend to those who knew him. He would watch as many of our videos as he could, and he would try and respond to as many as he could. He was constantly trying to encourage, to leave positive comments, and to help us to grow in our own strength and abilities. But he was never really able to accept his own strengths and his own commitments and wisdom. And indeed, he did have wisdom, a man of deep and abiding spirituality, a man who tried as far as possible to be an encourager, to be a peacemaker, and to be a good friend. He loved his pipe, and he loved smoking. It transformed his life, he said. It helped him to grow in his own strength and abilities, to put faith in himself. In his posts, he chose to bring an earthy, human wisdom and spirituality. He tried to encourage, to use storytelling to entertain, stories that he wrote himself. He told jokes, and he also was very honest about his life and about the events in it, even to the extent of writing his own death song, which will be posted after his burial. Having asked his daughter what she had chosen for his tombstone, she said he came, he saw, he couldn't make his mind up. And indeed, throughout his life, he changed constantly. In early days, he belonged to a group of gay men who spread chaos and as much fun as they could in their local community. He found a faith in Christ, and on that night met his wife-to-be, whom he, as soon as he saw her, knew that he would marry her. And she looked at him when he walked into the youth club and thought he looked interesting. She described him looking as a slug, pale white, but wearing black polo neck t-shirt and jeans. White because of the lifestyle he lived, having taken drugs, and having burnt the candle at 3 ends, not just 2. Their marriage was blessed with 3 children, and they lived and grew together in love. Their marriage having survived many difficulties. But finally, they found great peace and comfort with each other, and their love had an abiding depth. He was a man of deep integrity, and that integrity got him into trouble in the church. He would constantly stand against authority and with those who were outcast, with the travelling community, with the gay community, with those who were considered not to be worthy in any way. He would not allow the bishops to get away with anything that he saw as unfair, and yet each and every bishop he worked with respected him, respected the fact that when push came to shove, he would, if necessary, throw himself on the sword to give the bishop a way out. This led to him having a breakdown and leaving the church. As I've said, he lost his faith, but he didn't lose the things that he held dear: personal integrity, continually seeking to show as much love as he could in his own weak way. In answer to videos and in response to many of our needs, he would make sure he prayed every day for those who asked for his prayers, which may seem strange for someone who didn't believe in God, but he did believe in the power of positive thought and of giving encouragement. He would have liked to have been remembered as an honourable man, an ordinary man, a loving husband and father, and he tried wherever possible to treat his children as equals, and saw both his son and daughter as more than that, as friends, and almost as his brothers and sister. He tried to make friendships in the pipe community. And when he died at peace with the world, not fearing death, worrying perhaps about the process, but death he always saw as a necessary part of living. He used to say, death was the price that we paid for life. He knew he was often difficult to love because he held such strong views and opinions, and these mellowed in his retirement. He kept them very much to himself, but he would always try to be on the side of those in need. A lifelong socialist of the deepest red, he believed that all should be treated equal, that all should have hope, should have homes, and should have the ability to live life to the full. I'm going to stop there. Padre Piper, you've got a great site. You've got a great videos, but you have a lousy choice of your video for the GAW. Who can possibly do their own obituary and do it seriously? I hope I've tried, but I'm feeling I've just made an absolute bloody fool of myself. But that doesn't worry me. My whole life is spent making a bloody fool of myself. God bless you all, and may your God never let you go, and may you never ever be afraid of making a bloody fool of yourself. It's the best thing we can offer to people. Our own fallen, spoiled humanity. And out of that fallen, unspoiled humanity comes our greatest strength.